Welcome to the 4 Pillars of Men's Health, a podcast of resources for restoring vigor and vitality, bringing you top influencers in the men's health arena, case studies of men who have succeeded and how they did it, and cutting-edge teaching on men's health issues from America's leading men's health guru, Dave Skattum. Get ready to take steps towards good health. Here's your host, Dave Skattum.
Hey, welcome to the 4 Pillars of Men's Health podcast, helping men take steps towards good health. You know, it wasn't too long ago that I was in a pretty serious health condition. And I think looking back over that time, I think one of the main things that really boosted me to the place where I became healthy is really learning about nutrition and the effects that it has on my life. And the book and the author that I really got a hold of that really put me over the top in this area is a guy named Dr. Joel Fuhrman. And he's written many books. And the one that really captivated me was a book called Eat to Live. And it just made me really understand what food and the food that I was eating, what it was doing in my body and whether it was promoting health or ill health. So I really owe a debt of gratitude to this guy, and I'm so honored to have him on my podcast today. Dr. Fuhrman is a board-certified family physician, 6-time New York Times best-selling author, internationally recognized expert on nutrition and natural healing, who specializes in preventing and reversing disease through nutritional methods. Dr. Fuhrman coined the term nutritarian to describe his eating style, which is built around a diet of nutrient-dense, plant-rich food. Dr. Fuhrman serves on the Nutrition Research Foundation, and for 25 years, Dr. Fuhrman has shown that it is possible to achieve sustainable weight loss, reverse heart disease, diabetes, and many other illnesses, including building your immune system. In his medical practice and through his books and television specials, he continues to bring his life-saving message to hundreds of thousands of people around the world. And I am one of those persons that was radically helped by the teaching and the books and the instructions and the courses I've taken through Dr. Fuhrman. And Dr. Fuhrman, I can't tell you what an honor it is to have you on my podcast, and thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome, Dave. Glad to be here and to talk to you today. I know you said I was a 6-time New York Times best-selling author, and not to brag or anything, but my new book, Eat for Life, just came out 2 weeks ago, and I found out last night it became my 7th New York Times bestseller, so I now have another best-selling book, my newest book, which is doing really well. Of course, it updates and formulates and gives more of the newest science, and that's my book, Eat for Life, just came out, so I'm excited about that.
I'm aspiring to be like you, so that's great. Hey, in your book, Eat for Life, or Eat to Live, let's see, did I get that right? Yeah, Eat for Life, the new book.
The new book, Eat for Life, right. Eat to Live, I wrote in 2004, so this really updates things,
so
modernizes it, gives it more, how it's applicable to today's issues.
So is it primarily a book about losing weight, or what exactly do you get into in that book?
Well, we know that almost all Americans are overweight because of, the maximum lifespan occurs with BMIs below 23, not below 25. The U.S. health authorities tell us about 75% of Americans are overweight or obese, but that's because they use a 25 as the demarcation line between normal weight and overweight. And I'm saying they're still considering a lot of people that are overweight in the normal weight category. If we use 23 as the demarcation line, then it becomes 89% of the population is overweight, not just 75%.
Wow.
In any case, fat on the body doesn't just impair our immunity, increase the risk of death from catching viruses, but it also increases our chance of death from cancer, diabetes, heart attacks, strokes, and people don't recognize the magnitude of the problem of eating junk food and processed foods and all the high-calorie, low-nutrient foods people put in their mouth, leading to this extra fat on the body, which is so dangerous. So, yes, the book is a lot about achieving an ideal weight and maintaining it for the rest of your life. But the real opportunity here is that we have a nation of sickly people with high blood pressure, diabetes, autoimmune conditions, depression, fibromyalgia. It's everybody's practically sick, headaches, and it shows that the diet style has the most scientific support and most proven methodology to slow aging and extend human lifespan also becomes therapeutically effective to reverse disease and enable people to make consistent recoveries from what they're suffering from now. So I'm saying instead of treating your diabetes with drugs to lower your sugar, change your diet and get rid of your diabetes completely. Instead of taking headache medications, get rid of your headaches. Instead of taking blood pressure medications, get rid of your high blood pressure. Instead of going for stents and bypass surgery for your heart, open up those blood vessels, get your blood flow, just melt away the fat in your blood vessels, get back your heart, get back in good health again. And I'm saying that in a sense that doctors, medications, treatments, and procedures enable this self-destructive behavior with food because it makes people's numbers look better. And in doing so, their numbers look a little better, and they keep eating the same diet that caused the problem to begin with. So they just inevitably get worse and deteriorate. And I'm saying that nutrition is 100 times more effective, at least 100 times more effective than using medications, because people get better and they feel better and they have a better life and their life becomes happier and more content and it's just it's craziness. So I'm trying. This is my book is radical, but it's radical in its saneness, giving people the control of their health destiny.
All right. So some of the things, one of the claims you make in your books are that nutrition actually works better than drugs for most diseases. Can you give some examples of some scenarios that has actually happened with? It seems like almost unreal and unheard of. Have you actually experienced that and seen that happen with people?
Well, that's exactly what the book is about, because we can classify diseases into various categories. There's the autoimmune category, and the autoimmune diseases like lupus and psoriasis and ulcerative colitis and rheumatoid arthritis and Sjogren's syndromes. And there's a whole, and these people go to rheumatologists and are put on drugs that we know are carcinogenic. That's why they have a specialist prescribing those medications, because the drugs cause cancer. And when you're taking drugs for your autoimmune diseases, you're making a pact with the devil. You're saying, okay, I'm going to feel a little better now, but I'm going to get cancer and die young because of it. And the fact that we don't tell these people that they can get well from their lupus and their asthma and their scleroderma and their psoriasis, and the book gives all the studies documenting the corroborative evidence and also the case studies and all the people that have recovered just make the book just jump at you with excitement of all these people that have recovered their health in these conditions. Also people with multiple sclerosis that got well and psoriasis that got well, all right in the book, So, and then we have these diseases. So that's one. And then we have these diseases of like excessive nutritional ignorance, like diabetes and heart disease, where people have high blood pressure, high blood glucose, and high cholesterol. This idea that you can take a poisonous drug that increases your risk of cancer. We know, for example, that calcium channel blockers and other blood pressure medications increase the risk of developing breast cancer and other cancers. But there's also is pretty clear that we're not radically extending people's lifespan. We're not seeing the death rate from cardiovascular disease disappear, from diabetes disappear. In fact, it's continuing to climb as the population's body weight and body mass goes up. So we're getting nowhere with medications. And so what I'm saying is, I'm being conservative in saying it's 100 times more effective. It's 1,000 times more effective, is much probably more accurate, because people are able to get well and not have to take drugs for the rest of their life, and they can, and they can. So what I'm saying, these diseases are preventable. They're reversible. They don't have to happen. And every cardiovascular death, almost every death, almost every stroke death, is avoidable. Yeah. And when you think of these deaths happening every 30 seconds across the country, and how many thousands of people are dying needlessly every day, and this healthcare crisis we have, an expensive and poorly functioning healthcare system. The healthcare system can't function normally. It can't be economically sound. It can't be efficient, because we have too many sick people, and we can't give people drugs as a health system. We hand people drugs while people poison themselves. with junk food and fast food. It's like it's insane. It's like taking cocaine and heroin every day, while at the same time people are going to doctors to try to lessen those symptoms and go back to the cocaine and heroin, or hitting yourself with a hammer every day and take on the drops so you get pain medications, while the next day you slug yourself with a hammer again. It's just craziness.
My goodness. Yeah, I have several friends. I'm in my mid-50s, and I have several guy friends that are like in really horrible situations with diabetes and heart conditions and things like that. And so it's just like you said, they go to a doctor and they get a pill or an injection or something, but they keep slugging down the Dr. Pepper and the horrible food that's actually the cause of these things that are happening in their life. And I think what I've seen is that these things that they're taking are actually making things worse for them.
They do.
So
the diabetic medications make, especially the sulfonylureas and taking excess insulin too, they make people gain weight and become more diabetic. And the Accord study showed that the more you go to doctors to more finely and to lower your blood glucose more accurately and more effectively, the increase your risk you have for morbidity and mortality. In other words, morbidity and mortality means more problems develop and an earlier death.
It's like a vicious cycle.
More medical care means more death because it accelerates the progression of your disease, because it pushes the failing beta cells in the pancreas to work harder, and you gain more weight. And and blood pressure medications too can worsen diabetes, and statin drugs make you gain weight and worsen diabetes. And the blood pressure medications too can push your systolic to a favorable range, can lower your diastolic too low, increasing your risk of getting atrial fibrillation, then requiring more drugs for that condition. So the medical profession, it leads to a lot of excessive morbidity and mortality by people relying on drugs.
To turn a little bit of a corner here, I think you address this in your book as well, in your new book, but one of the things that I personally struggle with that I haven't been able to totally get ninja on is I feel like sometimes when I'm eating, I'll continue to eat even after I feel full because of the emotional attachment or some kind of, it almost feels like an addiction. You get into that with this book and how people can get past that in their life?
I think that's what makes my work so unique, is I've published studies and done a lot of my career on detailing and explaining and enabling people to get rid of food addiction and food cravings. And I'm very clear that the low-nutrient diet makes you a calorie-consuming monster. And unless you put some enough healthy food in your body, you can't control the appetite. And that, I hope that my teachings and my book, of course, this book is called Eat for Life, and I hope this knowledge enables massive more people to make effectively to change that kind of emotional, recreational, and addictive type eating. But I also have a retreat center in San Diego where overweight people and people with food addictions and other medical conditions can come and stay there with me and my medical staff. And I'm probably there half the time now. And what I'm saying is that they can stay there for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, because I treat this just like people treat drug addiction, because when people are away from their triggers, they're able to gradually lose their desire to continue to imbibe in those dangerous foods. And certainly people have an illicit love affair with foods that are killing them. These foods don't love them back. They're killing them, and they're causing, them to, so these diseases are food-related. And by teaching people teaching people the recipes, having the chefs, having the food addiction counselors, the therapy they get there, the time they spend retraining their taste buds, the fact that they're now away from their food triggers enables people to leave and enable them to prefer eating this way for the rest of their life. So one, I'm saying it is hard for some people to make the change, but two, you can do it on your own. You just got to abstain from those foods. You can't quit smoking if you keep smoking. You can't get off alcohol if you keep taking alcohol. And you can't get off your sugar, salt, and junk food unless you stay away from it for a while, And the same thing. And for some people who can't get off their alcohol and can't get off their cocaine and can't get off their food addiction, obviously they can get some professional help, and they can come to stay in our retreat, and we can make sure they get well.
Wow. Are you saying if we're looking down, us guys are looking down at our bellies, and they're like extending over our belt, and we're saying to ourselves, I know this is a huge problem, but I just can't stop eating this kind of food. You have a place that we can actually go to and stay there for a time period and do some retraining with our nutrition? Am I hearing that right?
That's exactly right. That's what I do as a career. I love doing it. You know why? Because people come in with their overweight, but with serious illnesses, and I get them back to normal again. Their psoriasis goes away, their asthma gets better, they breathe better, they think better, they work, their mental fog lifts, their body pains go away. And of course, we have a beautiful place with, like a saltwater pool and a sand volleyball course and hiking, and and yoga. It's just an incredibly great place for people to recover their health, and I love doing that kind of thing. It's funny because I do have a medical office in New Jersey, which I have Dr. Benson, who works works for me and sees most of the patients there, and I'm seeing most of the patients in San Diego, the guests in San Diego. But it's like instead of people coming to me as a patient for an hour, they come to me for a month or two, and they just stay with me for a month or two. So when they go, so I make sure with 100% certainty they're going to get well, because I got the best soil in the world, the best food in the world, and I can give them exactly the best recipes, make it taste great. I can teach them how to do it. It just increases the probability I can get this person's health turned around.
So a person could invest several weeks or a month of their life at this place and totally turn themselves around, couldn't they?
Yes, that's exactly the point, and it's really exciting to see those cases. Like, to give you an example, I give you a few great examples. One is a basic person, is a person who was weighed over 300 pounds, and she came in and stayed for 2.5 months, and she lost 50 pounds, but she didn't need to lose 50. She needed to lose like 200 pounds. But the year she went home, she finally lost 150 extra pounds. So she lost 250 pounds in about, she lost 200 pounds in about 18 months. She stayed with us for 2.5 months, and then she went home, and the next 15 months, she dropped about 10 pounds a month, and she dropped the extra 150 pounds. She's been on diets all her life, yo-yoed up and down, never been able to get the weight off. But she learned what she needed to do, so when she go home, she was able to reproduce it and stick with it exactly the way we trained her. So, that's a perfect example. Another example is a guy named Darryl, a really nice guy. He's a medical doctor who's had a small heart attack. He was in the hospital in Nashville, and they wanted to do place stents into his heart. And he was stable. He didn't have a big heart, I said, don't place the stents. You'll never be the same after that foreign body out. Come right from the hospital into my facility. He did. He left the hospital, came right into our facility, stayed there for like 6 weeks, and he completely recovered his health. He lost about 35 pounds when he was there. His blood pressure came normal. He got off his blood pressure medications. His cholesterol went down really low. His exercise tolerance improved. He came back, and here he is, a year later, thin, slim, muscular, in great physical, in the best shape of his life, with no heart disease, with no signs of anything. Didn't need the stent, didn't need anything. He just needed to really clean out his system with good, great food.
Right. Keep on bumping into this whole idea of, in our society, we're overweight, and I'm just curious, how big of a problem is this? Can you be healthy and overweight if you just eat well? Is that possible, or how big of a problem is this?
No, that's not. You can't say healthy and overweight in the same sentence, because all overweight people are unhealthy. There's no such thing as a healthy overweight person. What I'm saying right now is that even if your cholesterol is normal, your blood pressure is normal, your diabetes is normal, and the doctor doesn't find anything wrong with you, you're still not healthy, because fat cells spew out cytokines and lipokines. They increase your insulin resistance, and now you have higher circulating insulin levels, which increase risk of cancer and aging of the blood vessels. Fat cells activate aromatase enzymes, which make you have higher levels of estrogen, which increases risk of breast and prostate cancer. And fat cells promote angiogenesis, which means they allow cancer cells and cells to replicate more rapidly elsewhere in the body. So what I'm saying right now, a lot of people may not be happy with what I'm saying, they may be angry with me, but the facts are that if you want to really be healthy, you have to get the fat off your body and eat right. You have to do both. Because fat cells, of course, are garbage. They're garbage dump of your body, and we shouldn't be having excess fat on our body like that. So we're talking here about having more than 15% body fat for a male and more than 25% body fat for a female, move you into a danger zone as you go up from that level. more and more as the fat increases. You follow me? A little bit of fat on the body, but it's like you looked at me. I'm 66 years old. I'm 5'9", weigh 145 pounds. I'm slim. I have a six-pack, and if you look at, if you analyze my body fat on a body fat analyzer, I come in at about 9 to 11% body fat, around that 10% mark. Really? So what I'm saying is some fat on the body, 10% is about 14 pounds. You still have a little bit of fat. I'm 10% body fat, but as you get about 12, 13, you still could be in pretty good health. But as you go above 15 and to 20 to 25 to 30, and I see so many people who are 40% body fat or more, you know what I'm saying? So as you go up, it gets worse and worse, obviously.
My goodness. What I'm hearing from you is this overweight thing is definitely something that is, dramatically harmful to our bodies, and if we want to be healthy, we have to address this.
Right. And, some people listening to my work and hearing, will say, I'd rather just be dead than have to eat healthy. I'll just enjoy my life more than shorter lifespans. But, it's not really that way. It's number one, your taste gets used to what you're eating and you like what you get used to eating. And people who follow my nutritarian approach, after time, they love this way of eating just as much as their old diet or more. Yeah. But yet then they love it. They have the intellectual and emotional contentment with knowing they're doing the right thing for the body and feeling great physically too. So you're not giving up, you're gaining by doing this. And secondly, you learn a whole bunch of great recipes that you didn't know before that make food taste incredible. And then you have more gratitude and appreciation and respect for the wonder of the body and the wonder of food to give you great health. And you're more content and you have a happier life and you think more clearly now. And you are more creative and more intelligent. You don't lose your memory. And then the needless tragedies that would have befallen you in your future doesn't have to be, and you can enjoy your later life and have many, many years of full, enjoyable life. So it's called a no-brainer. People got to do this.
Yeah. I can sure attest to that. I'm born and raised in Montana. In fact, I'm looking out my window right now at my family's ranch, and I see some cows out there and the haystack, and so I was raised on meat and potatoes and a real earthy type of food. And so for me, when I learned about your nutrition density ideas, it was like a real shocker to me. It was a culture shock, but I did start eating slowly. I started adding greens and beans and all these good types of food that are very nutritious for us into my diet. And after a while, just like you said, I adapted to those things, and now I actually crave a green salad with just basically green stuff on there with no dressing or anything. It's just the taste of the greens and the celery.
On there, but the dressing enhances the anti-cancer benefits of the salad. We make the dressing with like tomato sauce and almond butter and fig vinegar and oranges with sesame seeds and hemp seeds and cashews and lemon. What I'm saying right now is I don't want you to have the salad there. I want you to put the delicious dressings on top because it facilitates the absorption of the carotenoids and the other anti-cancer phytochemicals are absorbed better with some fat mixed into the salad, what's in the dressing.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, good. So I have a ways to go, but I'm telling you, you can change your taste buds and you can start to enjoy those good quality foods. So hey, just another thing that I'm just thinking of at this time of year. We're recording this in March, and we're kind of at the height of some severe viral things that are going on in our society. And I'm just curious what your thoughts are on immune systems, and can we actually build and enhance and make our immune systems stronger, or is that just something that we have that we're stuck with and we just have to take what comes? What's your thoughts on that?
That's one of my main messages here, and very powerful messages that we're not just sitting here waiting to be infected. We're eating these high nutritarian foods which protect us against cancer, and the same immune system, the same mechanisms which protect us against cancer, protect us against bacteria and viruses, and enable our body to react quickly and efficiently and with multiple lines of defense. So viruses can't replicate and change their RNA and become more virulent or become more dangerous to us. Why do these viruses be less dangerous in some people and more dangerous in other people? Why don't they just kill everybody the same? Why do they hit the elderly worse? And it's all about your health. And I'm certainly, have the immune system of a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old. Better than maybe most 20 and 30-year-olds living on white rice and white bread and oils and fried foods.
Right.
So it's all about your immunity. It's all about what you put in your body. And we have total control. It's not about just not touching your hands to your face. It's not putting food into your mouth. That's going to hurt you.
Right. Yeah. Good. So it's just real concisely, how do you see, what is the connection between our immune system and the food we're putting in our body? How does that connect? How when we put like a bunch of French fries, greasy French fries in our body compared to, say, spinach, how does that impact? What do those foods do that impacts our immune system?
Well, many, many ways. But first of all, when you have something like French fries, you spike the bloodstream with sugar because the white potato, and especially the fried potato, the calories peak in the bloodstream so strongly and so powerfully that it has an effect to suppress the immune system as so many calories in the bloodstream at once and insulin peaks. But number two, in the processing of those calories, because they don't supply a lot of phytochemicals and vitamins and minerals, the body has to utilize its nutrient reserve to metabolize those calories, and the processing of those calories produces reactive oxygen species and advanced glycation end products, which are both toxic, aging you faster and suppressing immunity, destroying the activity of the white blood cells. In other words, when you put in something like spinach or kale or berries or mushrooms, you're supplying antioxidants. You're supplying phytonutrients that arm the body's immune system. When you take in the other foods, it doesn't just not supply them, it actually utilizes them and creates more oxidative compounds that do negative effects. It's almost as if I'm saying right now, food is either positive or negative. There's like almost no in between. It's either putting good stuff in or it's taking good stuff out. It's either draining your battery or it's recharging it. And when you eat those foods, you're draining out your battery. When you eat the healthy foods, you're recharging your battery. Yeah.
Wow, that's an incredible thought, an incredible statement. So when is tell me a little bit get me a little more information about what you're doing. Like, for example, I'm really curious about how we can get engaged with this program you have going on in San Diego. Is there a place where we can get your book and find out more information about what's going on there? And if you have any other things that you're working on that you want people to hear about.
I have numerous books. I have lots. I've written 12 books, but you can get the book best for your needs, like Super Immunity or The End of Heart Disease or The End of Diabetes, or my basic newest starter book, which we're talking about today, Eat for Life, which is the book to start with, Eat for Life. But people can they can get on Amazon, but they can go to my website, drfuhrman.com. That's drfuhrman.com. And of course, I have starter packages, member services where people can ask me questions and get their questions answered, and forums to communicate with other people, have meetups and position papers and lectures and Zoom conferences. In other words, I have a whole system where people don't feel like they're doing this alone. They can feel connected with myself and my staff to get more assistance if they need more than just a book. And then, of course, if they need more than that too, and they can click on the retreat tab at drfuhrman.com or the events, and they could see what's coming up in their area, or they could see maybe they want to fly out to San Diego and join me at the retreat and stay there with me for a while and learn more. So there's a lot of options available to people, but the place to go to start is at drfuhrman.com.
Great. And I'm just curious a little bit more about this retreat. Is it do you kind of filter through people, or is it just whoever signs up can come, or how does that, is there any pre-qualifications, that kind of thing, or getting into that?
Well, it's not the biggest place. I mean, I can't take everybody that comes, but I want people to come who are. I don't want people. It's not a nursing home. I can't take of people who can't take care of themselves. If they need full-time nursing care and they're that ill, it's not the right place for them. This is for the people who are the well-wounded. They're overweight, they have diseases, but they can mostly walk around and go to the bathroom and take care of themselves. And they want to go into the pool and take an aerobics class. They want to go for a walk. They want to go with our trainers and work in the gym. Yeah. It's not really for people that are so sick they need people to help them out of bed and get them dressed. You know what I mean? So it's definitely not a nursing home. It's more like it's not for people that sick. It's people who who have mostly overweight, mostly have medical conditions, but they're there to get better, and they stay there and they get better and they go home in much better shape.
All right. So why don't you repeat your website one more time so people can get dialed into that? What was that again?
Yeah, it's drfuhrman.com. On drfuhrman.com. And you know what's interesting is some people that come to our retreat aren't even that sick. They just want to eat the great, delicious food made by these fantastic chefs. So I gave the impression to people that everybody's ill, but some people just come to relax and spend time. I had a couple from Australia that came there for a month just because they were retired. They wanted to have somebody else making great food for them and eat so healthy and learn and learn the recipes and take the cooking classes. They didn't even have much medical problems or weight to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, man, Dr. Fuhrman, I so much appreciate your time. And anybody out there listening, if you want to take steps towards getting good health, check out Dr. Fuhrman. He has a plethora of information, books, seminars, all kinds. I'm even a certified nutritarian with your nutritarian organization. So if you want to go into a real deep dive into nutrition and how it impacts your body, that's a good way to go. But I so much appreciate your time, Dr. Fuhrman, and any last parting thoughts or ideas that you want to get out there for people?
Just don't tolerate being sick and don't accept the idea that you have to be ill for the rest of your life. Don't underestimate the miraculous self-healing powers of the body, and you don't have to be sick. And then it's worth it. It's absolutely, any effort to get this done and to get well again is absolutely worth it 100-fold. And thank you so much, Dave, for your work, and so proud of you that you've lost 70 pounds and gotten rid of your pre-diabetes and gotten back your health again. Yeah. It's great to have people that are role models. You guys are like my superheroes.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Dr. Fuhrman.
You've been listening to The 4 Pillars of Men's Health with Dave Skattum. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit the4pillarsofmenshealth.com.